Cassie, the Kanye West saga continues, only this time we are
Mhm.
hearing from his wife, Kim Kardashian West, for the very first time since his latest Twitter rant, really. It all started when Kim posted to her Instagram story on Wednesday, saying in part that Kanye has bipolar disorder, which is incredibly complicated and painful to understand. She goes on to say, I've never spoken publicly about how his bipolar disorder has affected us at home because I am very protective of our children and Kanye's right to privacy when it comes to health. But today, I feel like I should comment on it because of the stigma and misconceptions about mental health. She says, on top of the pressures of him being an artist and a black man who, by the way, has experienced the painful loss of his mother, he has to deal with the pressure and isolation that is heightened by his bipolar disorder. She really took this moment as a teachable moment, really, to her
Mhm.
fans and followers, saying that we as a society talk about giving grace to the issue of mental health as a whole. However, we should also give it to the individuals who are living with it in times when they need it the most. And she concludes by asking everyone for compassion and empathy that is needed so that we can get through this. I think this is a very rare statement from Kim addressing, the health of her husband and the
Mhm.
matters that have been going on privately. But I was also really commending her for really trying to, I don't know, seek empathy from the people who have been so quick
Mhm.
to have an opinion or judgment on the latest with Kanye.
And I love that you said using it as a teachable moment because, not only you, but also the internet too is commending Kim for this statement. Because at first, earlier this week, when tweets, initially started to surface on Kanye's social media, it was, the question of will Kim say anything? Won't she say anything? What's happening behind the scenes? And she really, took a day to think about what she wanted to say, making sure that her words were really impactful and really important. And I feel like for once in a very long time, I feel like when I went on social media, people were saying nothing but positive and uplifting words towards Kim Kardashian, people who weren't even fans of the Kardashian family. But the way that she came at this statement with courage and bravery and also humanity, obviously
Yeah.
this is something extremely, extremely personal for her as a wife, but also as a mother too. You got to think they have four young kids at home too, and the
Hmm.
the internet is a very accessible place, especially for young kids who are on TikTok, and you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
I'm just I'm saying, like, it's they can see all of this happening and unfolding, in a public light. And obviously she didn't owe anyone an explanation or anything like that, because this is something that they are dealing with as a family. But I applaud her for using this as a teachable moment, and I found that it
Hmm.
was very significant that she signed it saying Kim Kardashian West. I feel like that was just a nugget there that says, you know what, this is my husband, this is my best friend, I am standing by him.
Hmm.
Here I am, Kim Kardashian West.
Right. And I think it says a lot about her as a wife and as a mother.
Mhm.
And if it wasn't clear in that statement that she is standing by Kanye, it is certainly clear the way she signed it. Because you pointed out that, like, she never signs off any of her posts on social
No,
media, whether it's a
we know whose
tweet.
Instagram
We
that
know who
is.
she is, exactly. But like to say I'm Kim Kardashian
Yeah.
West, I mean, is sending a clear message. And again, I think it speaks to her devotion and commitment to him, even despite the fact that he is out here tweeting and since deleted tweets that he had been trying to get divorced since Kim apparently met with Meek at the Waldorf for prison reform. He is alluding to, I don't know, some relations, I should say.
Mhm.
I don't want to say an entanglement, but something to do with Meek Mill and Kim Kardashian. And he has since deleted that tweet, but I think the question on everyone's mind has been, what is next for them? Like, is this a
Right.
sign of trouble? Can we expect them to split? And a source tells ET that's not the case. They're saying that
Mhm.
Kim is not planning to divorce Kanye right now. And our source goes on to say that Kim is going to do what she's always done and stand by Kanye during a difficult time, adding, Kanye is publicly showing a bipolar episode, and that's hard to manage, but she's dealt with this behind the scenes before. An
Mhm.
example of their commitment to each other that the source points out is when Kanye was there for Kim during the Paris robbery. They reminded us that he dropped everything to be right by her side, and that's the guy Kanye is, and that's the guy that Kim loves. So Kim is going to be there for Kanye, and although right now
Right.
he doesn't want her to be by his side, according to our source, she's ready to drop everything for him when he's ready.
And not only is she right there for her husband's side too, she is a mom. We mentioned obviously there are four young kids at home, and our source tells us that obviously she is going through a lot, but she's staying strong for their children, and she's taking this time to make sure her children are happy and not involved in anything that's going on. She is surrounded by her family, and they've been strong for her. Of course, we know the Kardashian Jenner family is very large. There are a lot of members to, help lend their support for Kim, but also in this time too, when it comes to support, we're learning more about who is there for Kanye in this
Hmm.
moment, that he is going through. Obviously, we know that Dave Chappelle dropped everything to hop on a plane and check on Kanye after, his first series of tweets earlier this week. Kanye took to social media with this cute little video of he and Dave and the guys, and
Right.
talking about smiling and bringing joy. Well, a source tells ET that Kanye and Dave have been friends for a long time and have always been there for one another during the good and bad times, and
Hmm.
now we're seeing obviously Dave literally drop everything to go be there for his friend. The source also adds that Dave knows how much Hollywood and the people around you can make or break you, and, he flew out there the second he could be there for Kanye to support him. And I feel like that speaks volumes too.
Exactly. And to bring it back to Kim and her support, I mean, I feel like her standing by her side is also just commendable in the sense that I think it's clear to a lot of people based on Kanye's tweets and also that first, campaign rally he held in South Carolina that he's kind of going through what they're calling a manic episode. And so for her
Hmm.
to I mean, if it was the opposite of what she's doing now, if she just decided to peace out and we hear that she's getting
Right.
divorced, I just don't know how what's the word, healthy that would be for Kanye. I
For
don't think
him,
it would
right.
be. For me as as someone who also I consider myself a family man, I wouldn't want to ditch someone like that so quickly when they're going through
Right.
something. And so like we said,
And
according to our source, she's gonna stick by Kanye.
yes, and I don't I feel truly in my heart of hearts after everything that they've been through together, the ups and the downs over,
Yeah.
their 6-year long marriage so far. She doesn't strike me as someone who's just going to up and leave, especially after that very poignant post of hers on Instagram this
Hmm.
morning.
I have a question for you, not to put you on the spot, but like,
Mhm.
can the same be said for Kris Jenner? Because he has been really coming for Kris in these tweets too. I mean, in one of those deleted tweets, he literally called her Kris Jong Un, which the internet's having a field day with that. But like, is there a future where they can repair their relationship? Because to me, it seems that there is a
Mhm.
strain going on right now between Kris and Kanye.
Also showing screenshots too of him
Right.
allegedly reaching out to what appears to be Kris Jenner. It says KJ in his phone, it says Kris in his phone, and it says, "Hey, this is Yay, like let me know when you're ready to talk." And we see that there were two instances where he reached out and there are no responses from her. I hope that the family is able to, grow closer throughout all of this, at the end of the day. And Kris is that the matriarch of the family. When there is trouble, she is right there for every single one of her kids, and this is no different.
Absolutely. You make a good point because they are family and they are
Mhm.
thick as thieves and devoted. I mean, that's literally a whole army supporting each other. I mean, again,
Yeah.
that's the definition of family, right? And someone who knows that almost as much as the Kardashians,
Hmm.
as Jamie Lynn Spears. She's actually quick to defend her sister Britney Spears in a latest Instagram post. It all started when she actually shared a screenshot of Halsey's statement calling for sympathy towards those who struggle with mental health issues, especially bipolar disorder. Jamie Lynn captioned, "If you deal with mental illness or care for someone dealing with mental illness, then you know how important it is to respect the situation with privacy for the person and the family trying to protect their loved ones, no matter how it appears to the public. And as the
Hmm.
public, we must learn to do the same." So this prompted one critic to ask Jamie Lynn, "Well, how about your sister's quote, obvious mental illness. Why don't you speak on that? And so, according to these screenshots shared by comments by celeb, Jamie Lynn fired back and made it very clear she will not discuss Britney's mental health without her sister's permission. She said, "You have no right to assume anything about my sister, and I have no right to speak about her health and personal
Mhm.
matters. She is a strong, badass, unstoppable woman, and that's the only thing that is obvious." What'd you think of her fiery devotion to her sister?
Jamie Lynn is very similar to, I feel like, Kim Kardashian West in this situation. Like, she will go to bat for her family,
Hmm.
and really understanding and respecting here privacy, and the fact that, you know, if Britney is dealing with something, that is Britney and that is her health, and Jamie Lynn will lend her support in the ways that she can as a sister, but that is not, her business or her place to speak on publicly. And, I feel like it's important for her to remind people who so freely comment,
Mm,
insensitive things. I applaud her for taking that opportunity to put that person in check, and then hopefully
yeah.
remind the rest of the followers who see that as well. It's another teachable moment here.
And that's exactly right, because I think, as much as she was sharing that statement about mental health, and as much as,
Mhm.
fans wanted to think that she was alluding to her own sister's, well-being and issues in the past, she was like, I don't owe you any explanation. In fact, in
Mhm.
another response, she said that I'd rather take all the hate than speak about someone else's personal matter that they want to keep private, even if it is her family, and even if she has
Yeah.
a personal, history with that, and has experienced this alongside Brittany, in terms of like being there and supporting her. And she was like,
Mhm.
that's not my matter to discuss. And so I thought that was really amazing, really, really amazing. We know those two are so, so close.
So close. And what I feel like, I just want to be completely candid for a second, is I feel like, as we're watching, everything with Kanye West unfold on social media, especially, and then, being in the middle of the hashtag Free Britney,
Mm,
movement that's going on, I feel like this is really drawing attention to the conversation, the stigmas around mental health, and really using this moment in time, to have this teachable moment where you have, I feel like there are so many people who are quick to make jokes about. I mean, I've seen so many jokes about Kanye, just on Twitter, and it's so easy for
mhm.
people to just type and click send and post, and not realizing that, just because he is in the spotlight and he is this big celebrity, just because Britney Spears is in the spotlight and she's this mega pop star, does not
Mhm.
mean that they are not human beings. It does not mean that they do not have
Yeah.
feelings. It does not mean that they do not go through things like you or your family or your
Right.
neighbors might go through as well. And I really, really, really hope, after all of this, that, people open their eyes a little bit more, and they're more kind, they're more empathetic, and they're more compassionate in situations like these when it comes to mental health.
Absolutely. And I think it also takes, comments and responses, reactions and statements like the ones we're seeing from Jamie Lynn, the same ones we're seeing from Kim Kardashian West, and honestly, Cass, conversations like this, because and they've said it before in the past that, like, the
Mhm.
media tends to kind of overblow things,
Right.
and build up this narrative. People take what they
Yeah.
want from what they see in headlines and from stories,
Yeah.
but it all builds up,
And I feel
and
like, I will say
yeah,
one last thing, is I feel like mental health is spoken about a lot, publicly, in a
yeah.
media standpoint, but not necessarily bipolar disorder. For some reason, that's
Mm.
the one that people are very quick to have judgments and to make jokes. And I really hope in this instance, especially, again, it's a teachable moment.
Absolutely. Someone who knows about a thing or two about the media kind of overblowing certain topics or issues is Katy Perry. Coming up after the break, we're going to get into why she says she and Taylor Swift finally decided to bury the hatchet. Plus, Katie's fiance, Orlando Bloom, he is mourning the loss of his dog. Coming up after the break, the special tribute he did to his late puppy.